Hello, hometown. Welcome to session 2 of Knocking Down Strongholds. In the last session, we learned that a stronghold is birthed and dwells in lies and false beliefs. Our passage for this session is 2 Corinthians 10, verse 3. Says this: "We are human, but we don't wage war as humans do." Paul is telling us that as human beings and as Christians, we all struggle. But he wants to make it clear that we don't engage in war in the same way humans do. Because the war he is talking about, it's not a physical warfare. It is not a land dispute or personal conflict with someone else, but a war for the truth. The war for the truth is different than any other war. It does not use weapons made by humans, but only uses God's mighty weapons to knock down strongholds and to destroy false arguments. Can this warfare be identified? This war is not exactly the same war that Paul described in Romans 7:23, when Paul talks about the power within him that is at war with his mind. And it's also not the same war that Peter described in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11, when Peter talked about worldly desires that are waging war against our souls. Both passages are talking about an internal warfare. The warfare that Paul is talking about in 2 Corinthians 10 is an external warfare. The context of 2 Corinthians makes it clear that we are engaging in a war with others. The field of this war includes arguments, knowledge, and thoughts. We are fighting this war whenever we are leading someone out of error, or leading someone into a relationship with Christ, or teaching someone the way of the Lord. Paul describes the goal for this war in verse 5 of 2 Corinthians 10. The goals are to destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. The second goal is to capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ. We have an enemy, the devil, and he is stirring this war to go his way because he knows what is at stake. His goal is to make us think that he is not involved and cause us to destroy each other emotionally and physically. He wants us to see this war as a personal conflict against each other, so we can act in ways that are inconsistent with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Even though the war is external, we cannot fight it in the same way that we would fight a war or fight an earthly war. Paul reminds us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, who we are fighting against. Here's what Paul says: "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirit in the heavenly places." In the next session, we will look at the proper way to fight this war and the weapons to use. See you in the next session.